Okay, so that looks like that's working there. Or at least more or less working. Christ. If I could get away with not having the headphones on, it makes me look more bald than I normally am. Alright, so testing, check, 1, 2. Good stuff, everyone here.
Mic check.
Check Mike, we're worried about him. Okay then. Sure, why not? Okay, hi, hello, welcome. All that happiness. So, let me check my notes here real quickly, like. I really need to get all this stuff. No, that's not it. Is this it? What even is this? Alright. Huh. Okay, well. I guess we'll just do this off of memory. Screw it, we do it live. So I don't remember where the specific pages I had were, but... So.
Are you streaming?
No, of course not. I never stream anything. Which is almost true these days. The last time I streamed was literally the last time we played. I really need to get back into it. I need to finish Silent Hill 2.
Well, you were busy there for a while.
No, there's no excuse. I've been lazy as hell. I haven't been feeling it. But so
legitimately, dude, if I manage to come visit you, I want to stream. I want to have us just sitting on the couch playing games together or something. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. I tried to get these two. I tried to get these two chuckles to do it, but somebody's coward or somebody's camera shy.
You and Panda could have done it.
I'm camera shy too, but I think it would be fun.
Yeah. And also, admittedly, we did have the children made it a little difficult to try and do, but
I'm not camera shy. I'm too gorgeous for that.
oh god,
Good to see you're already in character.
he's always in character. Roro is his self-insert.
Daddy shark, do 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 do. Daddy shark, do do do.
Okay, let's see. That's gonna be
I thought
3.
this was row your boat.
This is gonna be plus.
Whoa, your boat.
Oh no, not +2, +4 to the CR of the creature. That's good. No, do keep going. This is going to be interesting.
Merrily, Quinn.
You know, we're just gonna have you roll up a new character. And they never saw him again. It's not that I have a problem with him. It's that Roro is the one who's getting in Roro's way.
Now you realize if I reroll a character and then you kill off Roro, it's gonna be 10,000 times worse. Do you think this is bad, honey?
So it's okay. We can just keep you on a constant cycle of making new characters.
Challenge accepted.
This is gonna be bad. All right. So last we left off, because we're gonna smash cut through the intro scene here, which is nothing. The party of Scotty, Gilfen, and Roro have made it to Triander, taking in a very small amount of what the city has to offer, you split up and were gathering some supplies and potential means of transportation to your destination, where you had discovered that Gil had made a new friend. He agreed to help out a dwarf by the name of Morgrim, however we pronounce it, we'll get there. Morgrim. Saying that he's on the look for the son of one of his former crewmen aboard a pirate-sunk trading vessel. The last we left off is people had been splitting up for the evening, going back to their individual rooms, correct?
Talking to themselves in the back.
Yes, screaming at life as one is wont to do a lot of the time. Okay, hold on, I gotta... What are the properties on that one? Because that is not going away. That needs to be on a timer. Because we are not having...
I'm trying to get rid of my message.
I'm trying to make the message actually... There we go. Go away at some point.
As your background.
It is not going to be. No frickin' way. Okay, so 10 seconds and that should go away. You know what? I'm just gonna... Yours didn't come up. Was he Mogrim the Dwarf? I can't read what that says.
And he fixie the things, fixie things.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Is this going to be the song that you're going to teach Robo for the road?
Oh god, no. If anything, he's going to teach Roro the song of his people.
Yes.
Which I was tempted to sing on my sing on Gowan when we were dealing with the dwarves. I don't know how well that would have worked.
I think that would have been fun.
That would have been fun. I don't know if it would have pissed them off or not. All right, so everybody had kind of scattered for the evening, and
I said, no, he's not my stepchild. Redhead.
I didn't know we were gonna have Jess guest starring. Okay,
Hi, Jessica.
no. So, Scotty, in the evening, as you're taking your rest, your mind kind of drifts off. In the haze of your trance, you see a field of white. Clouds passing by, swirling around, as you seem to descend from the atmosphere onto a mountainous... Yeah, that's right, initiative. Sure.
I'm sorry, I was typing. I don't know what just happened.
She's
Okay.
gonna fight this dream. Fight it.
Fight it. However, the dream as a lair action goes on an initiative 20, so... Breaking through the cloud tops, you see a snow-capped mountain range. Descending further, your vision, as it were, is assaulted by a blowing, screeching snowstorm. In the middle of a blizzard, you see a a footprint as you reach ground level. A little ways off, a dark speck. Your vision flows closer, following the trail of footprints to a individual trudging through the snow. Practiced footsteps keep them mostly from sinking in, but you see steps faltering. The figure is alone, cold. Though you cannot see their expression, the aura that you feel off it is a mix of loss and emptiness. Your vision spins around to see the silver-skinned face, eyes cast downward at the snow, keeping their feet steady as they trek up the hill. The figure stops and looks around. Continues walking. Though the lightless night casts nothing from the moons above, your mind's eye sees shadows approaching. And the moment you take before you snap awake is these shadows descending upon the figure, who at the last potentially fateful moment looks up and in dull surprise realizes whatever this is has descended upon them. Rora, your night's rest comes to you. And you see fire. Buildings that at first don't seem familiar. But then through the haze and the thick smoke, you notice a familiar building. 2, 3. You seem to be walking down the streets of your childhood. Though the train, well, it seems that bells from the local church are ringing as the fire brigade rushes out, seemingly in vain. See, I can do that. And you see townsfolk, what few there are visible to you, with pitchers of water trying to fight this raging inferno. But some unseen hand, moving quicker than your eyes can follow, moves almost in tandem to you. Or is it you in the vision of this creature cutting them down with an ebon blade? The figure, or you, it's hard to tell which, looks upward, and you see 3 images tied to pyres. Their forms long since expired from the smoke and flame engulfing them. You get a sense of satisfaction from this form, though the mirth that you're feeling within this form seems unnatural, dark, more so than even your desire. Alien. Your skin feels flush within this shell. And this is what clues you in that it is an entity separate from yourself. As for a split second you see a thick cloud of smoke, not as this figure is looking on upon it, but in front of your own vision. You feel the flames licking at your feet. The final moments as a scream is choked off by thick smoke. And the haze overtakes you as consciousness leaves this dream state of yours. But it clears. And almost like a bad dream within a dream, you seem to awaken. You are lying in a hammock of sorts, swaying with its own gait, though you're indoors, a wooden enclosure. The smell of salt air is the first thing you noticed past that. So your vision rises and you feel that this is your body again. You walk outside and onto a familiar deck. You are greeted by familiar figures as you wave back and take to the middle of the ship. With practiced motions and you're swaying along with the gate, the tumble of the ship, you pick up a coil of rope here. A couple of miscellaneous things that have been left out on deck. Warmly greeted by other figures around you, familiar faces, though your mind can't pick them up directly as that hazy, dreamlike state. But they are familiar, and they are friendly. Your vision grows hazy a little again, and time has advanced towards the end of the day. You can see the gentle sunset kind of dipping below the horizon, or beginning its final descent. And there is a weariness in your body, a fatigue, but it's accompanied by a sense of satisfaction. A day's work complete, and though tired, a sense of accomplishment. One of these figures comes up and with joviality kind of slaps you across the back and leads you down to the galley where drinks are poured and food is served. And the two of you are met with the new dawn. Mulgrim, you had a good night. You spent a couple more hours just in the tavern. You had a couple more drinks with Gil before you moved back to the you headed down the path to the Red Hand, where Mama Guess had your room made up for you. One of the other members of the Red Hand, named Jeremy, a human man, kind of scrappy looking, said he was going to offer you a drink, but clearly you seem to have had your fill, and he doesn't bother you for the night.
Okay.
But all that considered, you are probably the first to wake up, oddly enough.
Not cursed like everyone else.
Yep, not yet. Give it time.
Well, in that case, if I'm first to wake up, probably head down to the kitchen, bar, or whatever, dining. There we go, dining area, and maybe order up some breakfast for everyone when they stir.
All right. Well, as you're coming down from your guest room, it seems like Gisela is already there, is already up as well, and is making breakfast for her crew. One of the a young elf is sitting at the table reading a book as you leave. They, or at least Gisela will kind of greet you and have you on your way. Going back to the such and such, you are able to order a meal from Yaram and get that waiting for the others, whom by most accounts should probably be down here by now as well, but who even knows?
If they want their food cold, that's their business.
This is true.
I have a question.
You have a question?
So last time Scotty woke up, she woke up alone. Is she waking up alone this time as well?
No, she is not.
Okay.
I mean, he's probably half off the bed right now, but seems like he was shifting in the night, but
To get away from the aggro dragon who rolled initiative while sleeping.
it's a little alarming. But no, it just seems like he was just rolled half off the bed.
Okay. Then she won't wake him as she tries to put herself together after that dream and perhaps is pacing the floor, more than likely an emotional wreck.
It doesn't take you long before Gil will stir and kind of get up. Just, oh, you're pacing. That's not a good thing, is it?
She'll give him kind of a sharp look. It's clear that the look's less out of irritation and more out of concern.
Fair.
I think whatever we had faced the other day, I think that perhaps Dahadi has faced them as well.
I mean, maybe.
No, not maybe. I had a vision.
And
She'll just cross her arms and sigh. He was out in the snow alone, and the shadow things, they were there, and I can't believe that would be a good thing.
okay, no, it wouldn't.
I don't know what to do. Honestly, I'm scared.
Well, it depends on what you make of it, I guess. Gil looks like he's still trying to kind of wake himself up. But otherwise, he looks like he's coming relatively quickly, too. Well, do you think it's a future thing? Something that's already happened? I mean, it's not like you to dream of other people.
No. So far, the visions, they've only been future events, but not ones that were ever too far ahead of time. If he went back to the Dream Valley, then what am I even supposed to do with this? I can't. There has to be a way to get in contact with him at the very least.
I mean, I don't have any options like that, unfortunately.
With that statement, it'll kind of dawn on her, and she will stop panicking and go to her spellbook.
Okay. So your spell book is there. I'll give you a little bit to go through that as you will. Roro, you're awake.
Pharaoh is awake.
There's a lingering lethargy in your muscles, but as you start coming to, that ache, that tiredness, reminiscent of your dream state, starts to slowly fade. You do feel a warmth about you that probably wasn't it doesn't quite match with the ambient temperature, but that too starts to fade as you fully awake.
Okay. After he gets dressed, he's actually not going to put any of his braids into his hair or anything like that, or hadn't the night before. He just kind of pulls it back, like normal, and he will head downstairs to see Morgan.
Yep. Morgrim is there, and it looks like you have food being served to you. Fairly. It's a very dwarven breakfast. It's got good. It's got meats. It's very protein heavy, and there's also breakfast beer.
Oh, well, good morning. Did you order all this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we can work on that later.
Thought I'd greet my new friends.
Roro will take a seat.
So, how'd you sleep?
Well, it's been a while since it's been in an actual comfortable bed, so it was quite wonderful. Yourself?
Hey. Fine. No problem.
The bath was wonderful.
I'm sure.
Roro will seem pretty distant as he stops talking.
conversation kind of peters out a little bit. Scotty?
She will, sorry, she will get irritated and kind of slam the spellbook closed.
Not finding something you want then, huh?
Nothing that I could use to reach out to him at the moment, to even warn him. I don't... How can this be so frustratingly useless?
How can what be useless?
She will gesture to her, her new spellbook from her master. I
Well,
can't even do anything against those shadow creatures, not until I asked for an intervention.
well, I'm not entirely sure what to tell you on that one. Arcane magic has never exactly been my specialty anyway.
I can't just do nothing. He's the reason that Roro and I even walked away from Alta.
Well, I don't know. Maybe there's someone in town that we can. This is supposed to be a place of hot shots, right? Maybe there's a way that maybe someone around here knows how to get messages out.
Scotty will sit pensive for a minute and then kind of nod in decision. Then I'm gonna go get dressed.
All right.
And once she's ready, she will kind of go down, but not really, like, you can tell she kind of just wanted to walk past the table with Roro and Morgrim.
Well, yep. The other two are definitely sitting there, and there is definitely a very, very protein-heavy meal being sat down.
And Rose definitely just watches her go by.
Does she go by, or are you sitting down with them?
She'll pause, but she won't sit. Her eyes will turn to Roro. You might be able to help.
Well, obviously, I am very helpful.
It is clear by the face she is giving you that this is not the time of day to be bothering her.
It is clear by the face he's giving back that every time of day and night is the time of day and night.
Says Roa. Gil, for what it's worth, has picked up a couple of scraps of meat there, and he's just kind of tucking in that.
What can I help you with?
You should care to know that it appears Dahadi may be in some trouble. I need a way to send him a message to get to him somehow, so do you have something that can help or not?
I don't specifically have a spell like that, but I can't say it'd be hard to find someone who does.
That's been considered, thank you. And she will just keep walking right out the door.
Gil, who at this point was trying to hand you like a sausage, just sees you walk by and just. Well, okay. Not entirely sure if we should go after her or just let her do her thing.
I will go after her. It seems to have to do with spells of sorts. He will lazily get up
Gil will
Just kind of shrugs.
Gil will probably hand Roro a couple of sausages just in case she gets her or you get your appetite back.
Walks right past it. I'm totally kidding. Roro takes them.
It's like, motherfucker, man. Try to be nice to some people. Yeah, well, the dwarf still likes me.
I'm sure she'll appreciate this later. I will catch up. You guys just enjoy yourselves with all this.
And Anita's so. There are eggs too, but you know it's very it's proteiny.
You enjoy all this protein-y.
Well, don't mind if I do. Wow.
Well, so long.
Old an acquaintance of ours. Apparently, she's received a vision that he's in trouble, perhaps, or soon to be. It's got her all kinds out of sorts.
Hmm.
The Understudies, Part 2. Scotty had officially lost her mind. Chapter 1.
I think we're kind of on chapter 4 by now.
Of her losing her mind? Probably.
Yep.
I have a question.
I've got an answer.
Is it about Jack Jack?
No. Okay, so
Sure.
as Scotty is marching her panicky self out of the building and down the street looking for the first intelligent person that looks like she could give her directions, she's going to stop and it's going to dawn on her. And so the question is, what was the moon phase last night?
Last night?
Yes. The night of the dream.
You did not see the moons. Actually,
What
no,
was-
wait. Give in the dream or before the dream?
She already knew that it was new moon in the dream. But what about...
Well, no, in the dream you didn't see the moons.
Okay, well, I was assuming that meant there was a new moon. Okay, never mind.
You had nothing to base it off of. It's very rare, and it's one of those like omen level events. If all 3 moons were, new at the same time.
Alright, well, crossing that thought off her head, she will continue to march to find somebody.
Okay.
Lily can Roro be catching up to Crazy Woman?
I mean, Scotty seems to be moving at the speed of panic.
What a measurement that is.
It kind of is a measurement. Somehow she manages 35 feet around. We don't get that. I would say for Roro, give me a check on your dexterity, we'll say. Okay. You're pretty swift on your feet, and you're able to catch up. As Scotty, go ahead and give me a check on your perception. So you're looking for someone intelligent looking?
Somebody who
That's
looks like
rude.
they know where she could find this information to do what she wants.
I mean, you see... There's people kind of all over the place. The good thing and the bad thing about Triander is that everybody has that kind of at least semi-seasoned adventurer look about them.
Except for Scotty and Roro. Why they stick out like a sore thumb?
They do not. I mean, they're
Gorgeous that he's blinding.
Their actions give them away, but not their look.
Hey.
For better or for worse, I didn't say it was a bad thing. But, kind of in your mindset, you're not, you're looking, but it's almost like you can't see the forest for the trees kind of deal. It's like, well, that maybe, and then there's a hand on you, and then there's like a presence near to you, as you hear. The one thing that you do hear are the footsteps rapidly approaching you.
That's not how River walks. Oh.
It would be clicking. He has heels.
Whatever. The point is you hear footsteps come up behind you. I'm not going to assume that you feel a touch on the shoulder, because I'm not going to force you into getting murdered. I'll let you do that on your own.
No, Bravo knows better to actually hit within a 10-foot radius of psycho aggro.
I mean, everybody should know that by now.
Yeah, it's whether or not we listen.
Scotty. Do you know exactly what kind of spells we're going to be needing for this?
No, but I want to be back in the Dream Valley. I want to find Dahadi and make him aware that whatever he is doing, she'll kind of huff and go back to her searching.
I do have a question. Would Roro actually know of a spell that would help get this? Like, would he know about sending or something like that?
You know what? We will, at this point, both of you can check Arcana.
If we join forces? No.
Not quite. Geez. I mean, it's a lot of activity. She seems really just... You've seen her angry and aggro, but this is something new that's got her out of whack today. Today. This is a different kind of psycho today.
I'm so glad you guys get to taste the psycho rainbow.
Mwah.
Well, some of us in the party don't.
I'm just saying, today tastes like papaya. Papaya chunks.
So I'm going to take that as a no.
No. I mean, you've heard of things that do that. I mean, clearly, there's people who can... I mean, Dahadi went from the ship to not the ship. So clearly, things can happen.
In that case, Bravo's going to kind of just like wave Scotty down. Okay, there's a much easier way we can handle this. So, here we go. And he's just going to start yelling, "We need a spells expert! Spells expert over here!"
Oh, God.
Scotty will just stop, completely appalled at the elf's actions, turn around, and start walking the other way.
Anyone know a lot about spells? You are needed.
Alright, Roro. What I'm going to have you do here is make just a straight up charisma check. Just click your main stat, charisma. It is way too... It is way too early for Roro. Like, the world is not yet awake enough for Roro.
From dusk till dawn, honey. From dusk till dawn.
You know, there's that 5 minutes around dinner that he's okay. But after that, we don't even...
Seeing as his plan did not work, he's going to walk to catch up to Scotty again.
Yeah. Not only did you fail to attract someone, you managed to push away the person you were talking with.
I see nothing new here.
Yeah, well.
So, Scotty's in a panic state and has not been able to recognize anybody who looks even like a mage or remember any spells that she's ever even casted in her life. Without even a hint of blush, she is just going to approach the first seasoned adventurer she sees.
Go ahead and roll, we'll say percentile dice.
Is that the D100?
Yeah. Okay. Ugh. Oh, geez, this does not. I got the wrong size for this thing. Nope. It's not getting close. I'm gonna have to trade that in.
Damn it! Stop undoing your zipper. We don't want to see that thing.
Yeah, well, it's better than seeing it zipped up and have my flab all pushed in weird, obvious directions. This thing is a 2X and it's still too small. It makes me very sad. All right.
I think you're gorgeous.
Good.
Well, you do have to wear glasses, so.
Well,
I'll leave.
he threatens a lot, doesn't he?
Shh. It's okay. All right. So the two of you are going up and down. You know, just kind of turn, continuing to walk. You pass the you patch the such and such, and go ahead and give me, Scotty, save on Dex. Yeah, that was entirely
Please
predictable.
Stop making us roll for anything, because
Look,
no.
I'm trying to get your bad rolls out. For no particular reason.
Particular reasons everywhere.
So... Oh, crap. Did I not... Of course, I do not have physical details on here. Because I'm that kind of genius. So you run into an individual.
Again with the running into people.
Hey, I'm not the one who rolled a 3.
She has no dex. You asked for her worst stat.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not the one
Roro's
running around in a...
laughing.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Roro's laughing as he approaches. Scotty, you should really open your eyes.
She's gonna open your skull.
I hope she does. It'll taste gorgeously.
Where is even... this is exactly why I need to redo all my files. And get them all into one big book again.
Just give it a few months, you'll have a reason to.
Yeah, no kidding. Is that in here? No. No. And I need to get a specific physical description here. And I'm pretty sure it's in one of these. And if it's going to be in here, it's going to be... There we go. Okay. Didn't take half as long as I had thought it would. So... Let me double check something real quick here. All right. So you run smack dab into this person, stumbles back, but Roro manages to basically catch you before you go falling completely back. And saves you from at least that level of the embarrassment.
You're welcome.
The individual that you ran into is about 6 feet tall, very slender, and the frame is a little hard to make out because there is a blue, kind of a light blue cloak that the individual is wearing. Okay, sorry about that.
Stay hide right front.
The train? No. Fuck. The individual has has long silver hair tied back into a flowing. I can speak. Really, I can. Has his hair flowed back into a braid. Very, very slender, graceful, like beautiful features with.
Cinco.
You don't know. Your companion just ran into them. You don't know yet. Jade green eyes. Pale. With large feathered wings coming from out the back of its cloak. Carrying a staff, a runed staff made of gold and bronze and tipped with a crystal sphere. Roro, if you could give me... we'll say an intelligence check. With advantage.
Oh god, that's my worst stat. Oh god.
6 and a 10, okay. But yes, you crash straight up into this individual. Just, are you all right?
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean any harm.
Scotty, you can't just run into people. They don't like that.
Scotty is just like like at the edge of her rope at this point and just distraught in the features. I didn't mean to. I'm really sorry. And she will kind of pull away from Roro.
Okay. So long as you're alright.
No harm done.
No, of course not. Are you well?
She'll just like surprise stare at this person. In most ways, I suppose.
It's fortunate then.
With noticing the staff, Scotty's going to kind of jump off the ledge here.
Oh, ah! Whoa, that was terrible.
Do you practice arcane magic, perhaps?
I am knowledgeable of magic, yes. I'll just kind of glance up at the two of you. Both of you give me perception checks.
That you roll on good. Okay, well that I roll good.
She's still extremely panicky. It's fine.
Yes. Roro, you notice as this individual scans, scans the two of you, kind of taking in what has just suddenly dropped into their lap. Just, you notice their eyes kind of linger on you, probably more than just a simple, like, clocking of who you are. There seems to be maybe something behind the look before he focuses back onto the draconic individual. But yes, he answered in the affirmative.
I'm sorry. I'm being rude again. My name is Scotty.
It's quite all right. You seem to be distressed.
Isn't that the truth?
Why is it that you are looking for an arcanist?
I find my skills unuseful, and I need to know a way to get to somebody, or at least get a message to them. I believe that they are in danger.
That is... that would be something that would put you out of sorts.
She'll kind of just bite into her bottom lip.
So, what is it that you are needing to do?
I'm hoping, because of the size of the city, that perhaps there's a place that could offer such abilities, because I don't have them. And I know that there is no way to reach the Drain Valley physically, but I'm hoping to at least send some kind of swift message to a comrade there.
Again, Roar, you notice a little bit of a look from the individual. And
Verbo gives the look right back.
well, no, it's not a look at you, but there's something in his expression that shifts a little bit, kind of almost against their wishes, desires, just unintentionally. There just seems to be like something that passes over their expressions that you can't quite. I don't know. You don't quite know offhand.
Verbo will be watching carefully, a narrowing eye.
Go ahead and give me insight. So, Mike, can you use all your skills, whether you have them or not? Not bad. Not bad at all.
God, he's standing next to me, so I get 25. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, she is not helping anybody. She's not even helping herself right now.
Oh, so much blush over here.
It's fine, he'd be disappointed anyway.
If I even noticed it. Maybe that's just my problem. I just didn't notice.
Tally for you.
I don't get tallies. That's not how that works.
It is now.
No, it doesn't. Alright, 18 insight. You being the suspicious individual that you are inherently, you're able to kind of piece that look together. It's definitely looks of recognition, and now that there's sort of a wariness, perhaps. Like, you see the individual is now a little more on guard with something that Scotty has said.
Spoiler alert, I think I know what it is.
So, is there a way somehow to do anything to somebody who may be in the Dream Valley?
There are, there are certainly ways for you to get into contact with people around that area. Yes.
Would you help? If you could just point me in the right direction, please. I know I just ran into you and I'm being quite rude, but I'm a bit desperate.
Go ahead and check persuasion at disadvantage.
It already is a -1. Why not disadvantage on top of that?
What the hell?
Shit!
Okay, so can you please tell us where we're going, please?
You're not helping. You can't help.
Oh.
And you
No,
would
That's what I picture with that kind of role.
just the individual kind of sees a bit of the desperation, the almost the franticness. Roro, you definitely get the sense of apprehension to this individual, and they still seem to be on guard. But the individual kind of looks back and forth and just come with me. He kind of starts ushering you off down a couple of the streets.
And Scotty is far too willing to follow.
Gets right into the van. Didn't even need to use the candy.
Nope.
Roro will also follow, obviously.
So you're taking down a few streets, and it seems like you're moving more towards the water line. To a house on not quite a house on what is essentially a cliff face. Although the cliff, it's only that because it's a kind of a rocky outcropping that drops off into the lake. You have the house is made out of nicely crafted marble, which definitely differentiates itself from the more like village type aesthetic that the buildings have. As you're passing along at the angle, you can kind of see that the back end of the building that is facing the water seems to be walled with glass or crystal. As the individual will usher you in. There is a small placard on the main entrance door, which is a dark. It was just a dark carved wood that said is adorned with a star motif that has 3 moons at its north, northeast, and northwest points. It's a kind of a crossed star. Go ahead and roll intelligence checks, both of you.
I think we're done with the bad rolls for a bit.
I think you are.
Thinks it.
Roro, it looks fairly familiar to you. It seems to be a semi-common symbol. Scotty, a somewhat common symbol. ish. It's found on a lot of arcane things. Scotty, with your natural 20, your 24 roll, aside from the moons, which seem that they're both depicted as, all three of them are depicted as full, which seem to have an unknown significance there, but specifically, you recognize this is a star of Avalon. Largely, it is a prominent arcane symbol. It is also has its ties to certain religions, and is also a crest of one of the hidden isles. It's a symbol that definitely denotes magic, and also a nation of mages. The placard below it, on basically two words on the southeast and southwest points of this 8-pointed star, which basically cross more towards the top and then kind of branch off. I'll get a picture of it later for you. I can't believe I didn't post one up, have one ready, but that's my life. I'm so prepared. But no, the words on the placard say Tainum's Irregulars. You are led into the room where the door closes behind the two of you. The figure continues walking down almost an open hall past an arch that seems to lead into a den. The staff has slipped within his cloak and has vanished from sight completely. Before they take you to into the back to the dining table, where you can see the spread of the lake before you, and in the distance the central island that has a couple of scattered houses and pillars made out of some glass or crystal in the distance, in several towering spires, the mists rolling off the morning lake as the sun is starting to burn it away. The individual will sit down at the table, hands coming out of the slits in the cloak, and just kind of fold them across their faces. Please, sit. Explain to me why or whom you have to contact within this valley. Not a lot of people come and go through there, much less know anyone within it.
Scotty will hesitate a very long moment, almost bouncing with nerves, but then force themselves to sit across from the individual.
Roro next to her, as he kind of takes in the rest of the building.
A lot of gray, kind of almost like checkerboard, not checkerboard, but a lot of marble here. A lot of polished marble for the aesthetic here, and carved, mostly in leaf patterns. It's basically that white marble with the the black veins running through it. I mean, to your eye, this is well crafted and kind of it's not cheap to have this sort of thing done.
Well, I'm from there, so that's why I know this individual. There was an accident, and he saved my life. I'm trying to return the favor.
I see. And you? He'll look to you briefly, Aurora.
And I. What?
Your reasoning, I imagine, is it the same as hers? Or are you from there?
Well, I just didn't want her to go off crazy in a town by herself, so I kind of just followed to make sure she stayed safe, because, a little crazy.
Scotty is too much a bundle of nerves to even glare at Roro at this point. She is just blocking him.
He just smiles.
Okay. I can in fact it would be possible for me to send a message, but I would have to know a fair bit about the individual in question. I have to be familiar with them, or made familiar with them, rather.
How much exactly would you need to know?
Description, something to cement their likeness in my mind.
At this, Scotty kind of almost visually kind of shuts down. The reason I'm doing this is because I feel if I don't, then he will die. But as unreasonably selfless as you have been so far, how do I know that he will be safe?
That the individual you are attempting to contact will be safe?
Yes, if I make you familiar with him, how do I know that you somehow won't hurt him in another way?
I suppose that could be a fair point. You said that you're trying to save his life. So you must assume him to be in danger already.
I don't know when, but yes, I am sure that something will happen, and I'm not positive he'll survive it.
I see. Well, I am not... How can I say it's... You have come seeking aid, and the way these magics work, unless you were to do it yourself, you would have to make someone familiar with the individual you're attempting to have contacted.
Scotty sits kind of gravely pensive. It's clear she understands exactly what they're saying, but
I don't like
here.
it.
She will eventually nod her head in agreement, deciding that what she is trying to do is more important than what threat this person could possibly impose.
I'm sorry, what did you say your name was?
The individual will kind of just let out a breath. Just, my name is, you just kind of look down and but then kind of look more at Scotty than you. Just, my name is Aleph.
Does Roro recognize the name?
Give me an intelligence check.
Roro doesn't even know his own name.
I mean, it sounds kind of familiar to your brother's name. Aleph, Eluf.
Can you spell the name inside the shop box for me?
Which one? The one that was just given?
The one that was given of the guy we're at the table with.
If my keyboard decides that it wants to work, and it doesn't.
Then you can say it out loud. So I can...
There we go. Come on. Why does technology hate me sometimes? All right. The name that was just given to you is Aleph. Alef. There you go. I'll Vanna white it out here on the screen. There.
So he can recognize that it sounds very similar to Aluf.
Yeah, which was like Eluf, I believe.
Huh.
So, I mean, phonetically, it sounds similar. I mean, it sounds elfy. You're an elf. This one's got wings.
Scott, I really think Gil is going to start getting worried soon. We should really head back right now.
Bruno, this is serious, so if you feel the need to head back and let Gil know where we are, that's fine, but I'm not... I need to get in contact.
I really think we both should go, and we can find someone on the road. It'll be much better that way.
Roro, I don't know if this... It could have already happened. I need to do this now.
Let's see here. No, don't fall off the table. Okay. You hear footsteps approach from a side room, which seems to be a kitchen. A little striking in the fact that the individual, a woman, who with strikingly paled blue skin and like a deeper cyan kind of hair, like an azure, like a deep azure hair, wearing a sleeveless dress. Essentially, it's kind of like a kai pao style dress, and wearing a band of silver across her forehead, and seems to have this She has like ice chip blue eyes, and seems to have bits of this more of a light blue, almost almost kind of like a bodysuit, almost like the material that that you're wearing in kind of a nature, Scotty. Who's even taller than the elf. Just kind of looking. I didn't see that you were back. Did you need? Who are your friends? These were some individuals that had run into me on the street seeking some assistance. They seemed quite distressed. This is my one of my co-workers, I suppose you could say. Her name is Tiara. You can call me Frost. And who do we have here? The lady is Scotty, was it?
Yes, that's right.
I didn't catch the gentleman's name.
Oh, the gentleman. The gentleman is Morgrim. Kind of like Morgan, but more grim. Get it?
The two just kind of give you a bit of a nod. Do you need some? Are they staying long? That seems to be up for a little bit of a debate. Well, then I'll go bring some water for you. She'll excuse herself back. You'll have to excuse me. The house can get a little busy sometimes.
No, I'm sorry. We're intruding. I apologize.
It's quite all right. Now,
Since we are intruding, maybe we should just head back and get the others.
Roro, I just want to get this done now. I told you this is urgent. If you're so concerned, you can go get Gil yourself.
you seem...
River's gonna cross his arms.
You seemed perturbed, sir. Is everything all right?
Oh, nothing much. Just worried about our companions becoming worried about our sudden disappearance. That is all. I'm sorry, Adriel's coming out of everything.
Yeah, happens.
I know.
It's like Adriel and Roro are your spirit animals.
Okay, but is that really surprising at all?
No, not in the least. You have two modes.
And they often mix together.
That they do. If you are concerned about the others knowing where you are free to bring them here if you so desire.
Oh, that's okay. Scotty, why don't you just make this quick so we can get back?
Question. Can we assume that Scotty had Sirius with her?
This is your familiar. If it's not in its pocket dimension, it's easy enough that to assume that it follows you around or it's resting in its little pocket.
I thought Sirius was a puff of smoke.
Rude. Could Sirius be sent to go get Gil?
You could do that. You could command the cat to go, and it would be out of your direct control range, but you can essentially tell your familiar to go back to the such and such and try and alert Gil or the others. Can't open a door, but it can try to get inn.
I don't even know if that would be worth it. But it was a thought to settle Roro's panic.
Rara was now sitting cross-armed and pouting.
Well, that's typical.
So, if I tell you of his appearance, is that enough?
The more information that you can give me, the easier it will be to assist you. I will likely have to use a couple of different spells to find the individual and to contact them as you were asking.
Like, what kind of smell?
A spell to locate and a spell to contact. Unless I am more familiarized with the individual, I cannot simply just send the message. I would have had to see them, or have been more familiar with them.
How will we know that this has worked?
The nature of the messaging spell would allow for them to return a communication.
So it would be right away.
In most cases, yes.
Then I will tell you what I can, but I can't promise that it is a whole lot.
Understandable.
Do you think Scotty and I can have a word alone for a moment?
If you must.
Okay, let's go.
About as Roro's popping up, Frost will kind of walk back in with a pitcher of rather chilled water and a couple of cups that when she pours in, and just kind of nods and kind of goes off to the side.
Thank you.
Roro's popped up.
Scotty is beyond nerves and is like looking very irritated.
What even is?
It'll be a very brief moment. Let's go, Scotty.
With a heavy sigh, she will stand. Excuse us just a moment.
Of course, I will prepare the materials needed.
Rara will lead out of the building.
Scotty will follow with an attitude.
Once the door is shut, Rara will turn towards Scotty and in a more so hushed voice than I could demonstrate, putting that out there for you, Quinn.
Good to know. It's called a stage whisper. We're fine with this.
Stage whisper. Oh. I really think that we're putting Dahadi in more danger here. I'm pretty sure that guy in there, and he's just gonna keep kind of talking a lot faster and faster and faster. I'm pretty sure that guy in there is actually related to my stepbrother who tried killing me, who's part of my brother, who's probably trying to kill us, and he's probably going to try to kill Dahadi, and I just don't think it's a good idea, and I think we should leave right now.
Hyperventilating.
Scotty has taken a few. Scotty has taken a few steps back, a little scared at this point.
So we should go. We should get Gil. We should get the real burger, and we should go.
Roro, I understand your concern, but you are not getting the weight of this issue.
I think we're going to make your dream vision thing come true if we give his information to him. We can find someone else.
Who do you expect us to find? This...
You two are not the only mages on the planet.
I can understand that, but this isn't just a mage that was met on the street. This wasn't just a random book given to you by your traveling partner. Pointed look. This is an establishment of mages. This place can be trusted. They have a reputation.
A reputation of burning down your home?
Says the one who showed up right before it happened.
Running from the people who burned down my home. Your home.
Bringing them to my home. Following us through Talos' camp.
Do you want Zahadi to be killed?
The only way that I will give up this lead to contact him is if you find me a way to get to the Doreen Valley now. Because those things that tried to kill us, they're after Zahadi, and the only thing that stopped them from killing us is my calling out, and Zahadi has already told me that he does not have knowledge of such things. It's not safe for him.
How do you know that those things that attacked us weren't being controlled by the people in that building?
How do you know that they are? You are freaking out over no information. Provide me proof.
Okay, I will. His name is Aleph, and my brother's name is Aloof.
Rock solid. Good job, Roar. You figured it out.
Sure, Quentin. Let me just put out there: pale skin, white hair, brothers. Probably a distant cousin trying to kill us all.
Scotty is just staring at him like she's trying to do a hard math problem. Didn't you say he was your stepbrother?
Rome was gonna kind of think about that for a minute.
Did he look exactly like you?
Well,
Look,
He was pale with silver hair.
look, Silson looks like you as well. Most of the people that come from the Doreen Valley are going to look like you. You are freaking out.
maybe I can go run into someone then. Maybe that level of freak out is the one that I can achieve. How about that, Scotty?
Scotty is looking a bit paler and icier than usual. It looks like she might be thinking about icing your head at the moment.
Oh, he might be thinking about using suggestion on this bitch.
And here we have Gil and Morgrim just sitting at the tavern, having a nice breakfast, going, it's a good day so far.
I'm gonna go in there and I'm going to ask them about this place, this establishment of theirs. It should give us an idea of who they are. And from that, perhaps we can make a better decision, but I am not... What?
Sorry, River rolled an issue. I'm just kidding.
Okay, you want to roll initiative?
Oh
Fine.
God, you're gonna get yourselves thrown in jail.
Oh my god. Oh, what is she gonna do? Catapult me into the building?
I'm going back in there. If you are so worried, then you can go retrieve Gil and bring him here.
Don't make me grab your horn again.
Roro, the next time you make that mistake, you are not going to live for Tallow to warn you about it.
What I was gonna say, if Tallow was here, you'd probably.
If Dahadi hadn't ran off because you convinced me to talk to him, about his involvement, then perhaps I would listen.
Rebel's face is gonna kind of gloss over Hardingly. Okay, fine. Go get the hottie killed. Have fun.
She is just trembling with anger at the moment.
He'll open the door for her.
She'll enter and close it behind her.
Rebel's gonna stay outside. Why are we so angry?
Oh, this is amazing. And this is exactly what D&D is.
He's gonna grit his teeth before actually following back into the building and
Okay.
sitting next to Scotty.
Approaching the back room, the way you came in, you will see Aleph setting up crystals, and there seems to be some lines drawn in in a chalk that a small slate has been placed out for these runes to be drawn in. The woman is standing nearby and was speaking something low to him. When the two of you return in, they'll just kind of look back up at you and give you a nod. It is still going to take some time for me to finish the preparations for this spell. If you could begin telling me what you know of the individual, I can start to focus on it.
Scotty will kind of take in a deep breath. She's a little purple from the argument with Roro.
If they can fully assume that she's purple from embarrassed because of Roro's hotness.
I'm sorry, but the safety of this individual is my top priority.
Mother.
Can you tell me a bit about yourself? I need a little bit of peace of mind here. She'll give a pointed look to Roro.
A pensive, returned look. Full of stress.
That'll earn you a little bit of smirk from the woman. Just, well, it's an interesting bit of someone who's doing you a bit of a free favor, but I'm not even entirely sure of what we could tell you about ourselves. We are members of in good standing with the city. We've been operating for several years. I have a pretty good reputation around here. One of our own sits on the Central Tribunal, and we have several businesses about town.
And are you well known in other places, such as the Dream Valley?
Well, we've been there before, yeah. I mean, you don't exist in this line of work for as long as we have and not have some kind of, if you haven't put feet down in most corners of the world. Messy business up there, really. I mean, the environment's pretty enough, but not exactly a hospitable place to be.
What do you mean by that?
Well, long-standing civil war, really. That's always tricky business.
A civil war, is that how it's viewed? I'm sorry, we haven't traveled very far from there for very long.
Well, I suppose you could say civil war is really the most neutral way you can put that.
And it's a neutral standing that you take on it, then.
We do what we can to help the people who are deserving. I guess that's a bad way of putting it, but it's the people who need the hand, I suppose you could say.
I'm not sure who you could say would be deserving. There was an incident and my village was burned to the ground. I could assume that they would be deserving, but
Well, we only can really handle some of the things that we hear about. I haven't heard personally any news out of that corner of the world for a little while.
what do you mean that you can only help those you hear about? How do you hear about anything from up there?
Well, forgive me for assuming that you're new around here, but basically our work comes mostly from the Divina Trium. Or Turum. The central governance in the center, in the middle aisle, they have communication to and from various parts of the world. If it's kind of in conjunction or in partnership, really, with a group of mages, ambassadors, really, from a place called the Man of Tal. They gather. They have their ears to the ground on certain goings on, and between the two of them, they basically can take in contracts that get spread out to all the different clans around here.
So it's from an outsider of the Drain Valley that you get your information. You don't take requests directly from anybody there?
All work requests come from the Divina Turum. It's how the city works. They take in all the requests, and all the different houses, such as ours, we essentially we bid on the jobs. We find which ones either interest us for, and I'm speaking as part of the adventuring guilds as a whole. Each different house takes on the jobs that they bid on the jobs that they feel that they can either do that are worth their time, or that they have a particular leaning in. Some are more driven by profit than a desire to do the most good, but it's the nature of the world. But
So-
all the requests come through the central establishment, the governance, and we take in the jobs. But if no requests come from an area, not all of us are Well, we can't keep track of the entire world at all times. We don't exactly have those kind of resources. Though some have larger reaches than others, dear. Well, yes, I know that, but I'm saying in general.
I'm sorry?
It's fine. There are some people who disagree with the way things are run in here in Triander. Some think that we should be actively searching out ourselves as the individual houses and band together to march on what would be a grand crusade to right the wrongs of things, but we are not... We as a town are not made to be a gathering of people to take on all the world's ills. We can help where in small ways. That way, if somehow we did not exist, the world would not become a helpless place.
And wouldn't you say that wrongs are... It depends at what perspective you're viewing them?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's always at least two sides to a coin, right? That's part of the intelligence gathering. Not all requests that come in are able to be granted simply because certain people get ideas that they've been slighted and they are simply selfish individuals. Some guilds would take a job like that regardless, but...
Scotty will kind of give Roro a "are you happy now" look.
Shakes his head. No.
I'm sorry, what exactly are you trying to get out of... What is it that you're worried about? I mean, you can... I'd say you can be open and honest here, but we are... Look, I don't want to sound mean about it, but if you're looking for our help, we can do it. She'll kind of motion over to the elf who is still working on the inscriptions for the things that he's trying to do. Normally we wouldn't do... Normally you wouldn't find people to do this kind of work for you for nothing, essentially.
That's fair. I understand that, and if we could pay you at all, I'd be willing. As this task is important to me, I'm not attempting to get at anything, and you're right in saying that I am being rude, but...
I'm just saying you're going to have to bite the bullet, either trying to find someone else that you are more comfortable around, or you're going to have to give us the information so that we can help you. And yes, that sounds a little harsh on my part, and I know. I constantly hear about it, but when it comes right down to it, we can't help if we don't have the information we need.
Well, what more information could you want from us?
I'm not directly the person with this skill set. I know kind of how it works, but I mean, there's always the start of a name and a physical description. That is always the basics of what you would need. Because otherwise, you'd be saying what? Some brown-haired human in the Doreen Valley. That could be a dozen different people. It doesn't give you enough. Basically, it's if you can either throw a line out into the ocean and hope you catch a fish, or you could bait the hook, or you could cast out a net. If that makes any sense to you.
Scotty will kind of smile, thinking about the time that they accidentally caught a big fuck off squid.
Cringing.
Yes, I understand, and I'm sorry to have asked for more information about you two and this establishment. It's just that, well, as you said, the Dream Valley is hostile.
It's not exactly a friendly place, is it?
And I suppose that's why I am now here, worried about my friend. So I will...
the two of you definitely have the look that you're from the valley.
Well, yes, I've already said that I was from there.
I wasn't there for that part.
But I will give you what information I can, and hopefully I will at least be put at ease that my friend will be safe. And I will put my trust in you.
Roro has a nervous breakdown.
Cough, cough.
Well, she will kind of, just wave to Aleph, kind of indicating that that's the person you need to be telling it to, as she's just sitting back with a silver cup filled with water, and you can see as her hand is upon it, the edges of it are starting to kind of close in as the contents of the cup are starting to freeze over.
Do you need a full name then?
That would be like I said, the more information you can give me, the better I would have to be able to contact the individual.
All right. Perhaps we could do this off the first name then.
It might hamper our chances, but that is a start.
His name is Dahadi.
Out of character, the most common name in all of Dream.
Oh yeah, it's like Steve, really.
Out of character, does Scotty notice anything about their faces that may say they recognize that name?
You can check on your insight.
Ooh, can I roll too?
Sure.
With advantage because he's angry?
No. Straight out roll.
Wow.
Well, here are the bad rolls again.
Yeah, Scotty, your nerves are definitely getting the well, hold on, let me just see in case. Yeah, Scotty, you're just a bundle of nerves right now. It's just really hard. It's really hard to tell. You don't even quite. it's just, the thought of what's going on is just out there. Roro, there is there's an you've caught it once before, but there's something that kind of passes over Alepht's face that you can't quite place, but his eyes seem to shift and kind of shift around the work he's doing. It might be that he's just working on more of the spell that he's preparing. Maybe something different. Neither one of you quite get any kind of different look from the person that's called Tira or Frost.
Roro's going to bite his tongue. Well, bite his lower lip, shifting his eyes over to Scotty. Very clueless, Scotty.
All right. Well, a name is not entirely enough to go on. What else can you tell me about this Dahati?
I can tell you that he's a silver-skinned elf with black hair, and there's blue in his hair, dark blue, and his eyes, they are also that dark blue. I hope that perhaps that's enough for appearance.
Is there nothing more that you can tell me about him for sake of familiarity?
I'm not quite sure what exactly would make him familiar to you, if not his name and his appearance.
If that is all you possess, that's...
I'm not trying to be unwilling, it's just that I only know bits. He was a bit secretive, and we spent quite a bit of time apart.
I see. All right, well, if that is all that we have to deal with or work with, then we shall hope for the best. As you see that Aleph will finish the last few runes in the design, place his hands where open, that they are kind of on either side of the design and formation of the crystals and whatnot. Kind of lowers his gaze to it, kind of tilts his head back, and where his eyes have either completely glossed over with a silvery sheen, or they've just rolled into the back of his head as his eyes just kind of go white, and just kind of stares off for a moment or two before blinking, and his gaze his attention snaps back. I apologize. I was not able to contact him, or not to see him.
Scotty will tense.
Can Rever inside again?
If you would like.
Obviously with disadvantage.
Obviously, no.
Obviously.
Seems like he's being honest with you. Seems like he wasn't able to contact him.
I don't believe either of you.
That's what you get with your role.
If you weren't able to contact him, do you need more information, or is there a way that I could get to the Dream Valley quickly?
I'm sure that you can find someone who would be able to use a spell of teleportation for you, though that would often come at cost.
I understand that.
I would not be able to attempt to scry on him again today. Though I feel that there was no connection established.
What do you mean by that?
On occasion, their spells of scrying can fail as you fail to make a connection with the target. But there are several ways of either foiling such a thing, or there is no target to connect to. With things as they are, I cannot say what the circumstance is.
At the last statement, Scotty will go completely white.
It's Aleph is kind of looking on, giving you the moment to process, come to terms. However, basically just to kind of absorb and parse that information. Frost, who's sitting next to him, is just kind of glancing between the two sides of the table.
I suppose then we've done all we can here. Is there any way that I can repay you for this?
I am uncertain that you have the means to do so, as you had mentioned previously.
Yes, I suppose there's that.
And seeing as how I was not even able to make connection with the individual, we'll call that as even as perhaps we can make it.
I appreciate everything you've done. I suppose that we shall go then.
Yes, of course.
Bye.
It's kind of
Scotty's still like,
side-eye glance you, Roro.
It's the normal glance, that's fine.
He's used to it.
Scotty's still super pale, kind of stands and moves, swaying a little bit like robotically, like the the thought process of okay, now leave is there, but not much else is.
Oh god, Scotty's on autopilot. Only good things
God.
can happen.
Roro will gently lead her out of the building. Staying away from her horns and barely touching any part of her particle body.
Good idea.
She will act as if she doesn't notice him and just slowly make that robotic walk back to the such and such.
All right.
Out of the building, he won't be anywhere near her. That was just to get out of
All right.
Satan's building.
Satan's building. Oh, that's okay.
I know things.
Sure you do.
My rolls prove it with all the 6s.
Oh yeah, you are convinced that this is the Great Satan.
More or less.
Yeah, that'll happen. So you both make your way to the such and such. It would seem that Morgrim and Gil have finished their meal and have left you a little bit, but they're just kind of sitting there. See you walk in, Gil will kind of raise a cup.
Gail, I think you should try keeping this one on a much tighter leash. River will kind of just keep walking past.
What happened?
I'll let that one explain how she pretty much tried to ask my distant family and help to locate the Hadi, despite my word.
What?
I know.
No, really, what?
Scotty doesn't even seem to notice the exchange of words. She will kind of walk up to the table and look at both the dwarf and the human. I'm going back to the Dream Valley.
But we're doing a thing, weren't we?
That doesn't matter anymore.
Alright, so we're headed south then?
Mm-hmm.
As quickly as possible. Preferred, you don't... I can't ask you to do whatever it is that I'm about to, but... I want to go back to the Dream Valley.
Well, I mean, I've got no personal problem with it, but he'll point over to Morgrim. It's just, we did say we'd help him head up northways.
Well, I did say I could do it on my own, so fine. Didn't work out.
Well, I mean... Scotty will just kind of fall over into a chair and put her head on the table, completely just done with this day.
Got it. It's only about an hour and a half in. Jesus. Alright, maybe...
So relatable.
Alright, take a breath. Look, you get out of sorts when you haven't eaten. Here, have something to eat. Take a breath. Tell us what's going on.
We ran into a mage. Roro seems to think that they are of his people. I don't believe him. This individual took us to a organization of sorts, Tannum something, and they were kind enough to try to connect with the Hadi for me.
All right.
Pharaoh's gonna sigh heavily. Aren't you forgetting a very important piece of information here?
Like when you threatened to grab my horns again?
That is did not happen.
Long story short, I suppose. They were unable to reach Tahati. And it wasn't just that the spell couldn't pinpoint somebody that the caster didn't know. It was that he was unreachable. So, either my vision has already come to pass and he is dead, or he is protecting himself from this kind of magic.
Or he lied to you and he's still alive and well and he just gave away his location to be killed.
Well, if that is the case, Roro, that is more of a reason for me to go back.
Well, I'll just point something out, is that if you try to locate him, like to find him with magic, yeah, that's not gonna work.
Scotty will just grit her teeth, glaring heatedly at Gil.
Yeah, that pendant he got, that thing's enchanted so that no one. I mean, he's a wanted guy out that way, and yeah, the good father was supposed to be this powerful mage. So the only reason that he hadn't been found yet is the fact that he spent his shit on making sure people can't just find him with magic.
Scotty will stand up and slam her hands down on the table. Why didn't that come up before?
You didn't tell me what you were going to do.
You
stormed out here. You didn't tell us what was going on. You just kind of ran off.
You are the one who suggested that somebody here could get in contact with him.
Yeah, get in contact with him. I mean, there's ways you can do that, right? Morgrim, I mean, flat out, you know, you don't have it prepared, but you know the spell in question that can sending. You know of it. It is on your spell list. It's I believe a 3rd level, and you're capable of casting it.
Oh, I closed my character. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm looking at your spell sheet, and, you know, it's not on there currently, but you are a cleric. Sending is a 3rd level cleric spell.
Player and player over here. Character versus player. Definitely very transparent right now. Angry Scotty. Angry Sam.
Okay, there, now it's on there.
Yeah. You're able to cast that spell.
And why didn't that come up before?
Again,
No,
Scotty
runs off and meets random mages.
Scotty was in a huff and didn't stop to discuss anything. She just up and like a whirlwind gone.
Yes, like usual, everything is Scotty's fault. We understand that.
As long as you don't take it personally.
No, of course not.
Maybe mention that she possibly is aiding play.
I mean, he doesn't even know what to deal with what Roro said, because that was kind of disjointed, but as far as he's concerned. And yes, Morgrim, you just have to, basically, you have to know who you're sending to.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the more familiar, the better.
Question: can Morgrim teach Scotty this spell?
I do believe it appears on the wizard spell list? Question mark? Yes, sending is also a wizard spell.
And how much will that cost in supplies?
Because I know he doesn't have it prepared today.
I want to know how much it'll cost in supplies for them to buy, like, the scroll and whatever else needed to transcribe it into her book.
I am looking at the wizard's abilities to do that. Morgrim's got some homework to do, is to fill out his spell sheet. Copying into a book. You see, each level of the spell, the process takes 2 hours and 50 gold in materials.
You are killing my will to live.
That is what the rules say.
Why is it 50 gold to write in a book?
Because it's basically materials. It's basically rare inks and whatnot. It's basically specially prepared inks and whatnot to hold the formulas into the spell book.
Oh, that's
Specially prepared papers.
But even if Morgrim attempted to do the sending spell, he wouldn't be able to locate Dahadi either, right?
Sending is not like scrying. Sending is a message. Scrying it basically creates a beacon on a person or a location that sees that, and someone who is protected thusly, it just fails. It blocks the attempt to get in there. With this, you're just basically sending him a voicemail.
Good to know.
Any other spells that Morgrim knows over here that we need to know about?
Look on the cleric list.
Clint, why don't you go fuck yourself?
Let's see here. 46. Yeah, that's 14 points of psychic damage. No,
Okay, well, Gil still has an angry Scotty in front of him.
Okay,
If he wants to roll initiative.
he's not. Is she lunging?
No, but she is fiery. If she was a fire dragon, she'd be on fire right now.
Roro does step forward to kind of break up the yelling in the middle of the tavern right about now. And what would you suggest that we do?
Well, find someone who can. I think we're still at the same spot here, right?
We should not. No.
You want to get a message out, and I can't do that. But this is all.
Yes, I want to get a message to him.
Oh wait, so Roro and Scotty still don't actually know that Morgan has it. That was just an out of character thing.
That was an out of character thing, or at least for the most part. Gil knows that priests can do it. He just doesn't know about Morgrim's strength, or if he would. There's assumptions that would be made that have been made that Gil assumes that he doesn't have the ability to cast that spell. or a sense of honor, or a personal touch or whatever. So that's basically up to Morgrim to intimate that he could, in fact, either do something like that or whatever.
I'm looking at you, Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
I am very intensely staring at you.
I don't think he's talking about in character either.
Oh no. I'm looking towards Arizona right now.
Mm-hmm. I am busy dragging all the other spells onto my list.
Oh.
Well, it's why I called it homework.
Bunch of
Well,
spells I will never cast.
Yeah, you didn't.
90%
You didn't think you would ever be called upon to cast Sending, no? So we.
in that case, River's gonna heavily
So
suggest.
what's his name? Gil, like, questioning whether or not Mogram can do this, or are we just assuming that it's up to him to say, "Hey, I"?
No. Gil hasn't asked if you can do it. He knows that priests can, but the background on this one is because you haven't used it to give information to the person you're trying to talk to. Either says two things to him: one, you don't have the ability, or you're not strong enough to use it, or two, that you would want to talk to the person face to face. But other than that, he's not going to presume upon your skills or your direct willingness to help. He's not going to put you on the spot, is essentially what's going on.
So, who is this person, and why are we worried about it?
Well, here we go.
Alright, so we know this guy named Dahadi, and Scotty here thinks he's going to be in trouble, like I said before. And she wants to apparently either send word to him or go running off. Oh, God, I don't even know how long it would take us to get back there. Because we need to trek it back down to Alcrin, catch the drift, and head back that way. And we don't know how long that's actually going to take.
Get onto another freaking boat.
As Gil is talking, pointing out how ridiculous Scotty is being, she is just slowly turning more and more purple until she finally just falls back into her chair.
Can we roll to see if she passes out from how purple she is?
It's from embarrassment, not holding her breath.
It's a different shade of purple.
Difference being
Negligible, I guess. All I'm just saying is heading to Doreen is not going to make things any quicker, unfortunately.
She will just look down away from Gil.
And honestly, I've known the guy for a while. He can take care of himself. And he's the one who decided he wanted to throw the fit that he did.
What do you mean throw a fit? And we're not talking about a normal thing, Gil. Those things that attacked us on our way in, that is what I saw going after Dahadi. You know how that went for us.
Yeah, I know. And yeah, there's a part of me that's a little worried about him too, but he's got bigger fish on him that, for a lot longer. He knows how to get away from things. He ran away from us quick as it was.
Mm-hmm.
So what
That's the
kind
idea.
of information does Morgram need to do this?
Um, basically, a name and a good enough physical description of him.
Oh, Vero can help with that.
Might be a little biased and catty, but yeah, you probably would have a good good
And
So,
what's
idea.
a better way to find him?
Also, other question.
Yeah.
That's water. Water. I probably did have enough prep slots to have that prep if I want. Because I had done prep, and then I had realized that the only ones I unprepped were ones that were
Domains.
domains, which I think are automatically prepped. So I probably still have another prep slot or two, because all I did was go through and re-click all the domain ones.
Yeah, you can also mark those like where it's like under the tab where it says innate, or you can just put like D for or just to indicate that they're domain spells. They won't count against your limit. But yeah, you have level plus wisdom mod plus proficiency. I'm gonna jump over real quick to your thing here. So that means you would have 10. Yeah, you would have 14 prepped spells. And you get 2 each level. So 2, 4. Yeah, it looks like you do have at least a couple of spots left to be able to prep spells. So if, for sake of expedience and, to make for sure that Scotty doesn't have an absolute brain hemorrhage, we can say that you have that one prepared.
Scotty is done being poked at?
That's out of character.
Maybe go. Give me a description.
Oh, okay. So, first, Dahadi is kind of like Dahadi, because, Dahadi. Anyways, so he's kind of like taller, and he has silvery skin. He's elf-like, I think. Was he elf-like? He was elf-like. Okay, and he has black hair, but he has blue streaks in his bangs, so that's very notable. And he has like this total grim face on all the time. You think you're annoying him all the time, but you're really not. He's lying to me. Oh well. He has blue eyes as well, and he wears like this really out of fashion black, like, I don't even know what it is, like a cloak, but it's not thing. I don't even know. It's horrid. But it's like really pretty shawl over it with moons on it. It's really pretty. He never let me wear it. I don't know. Think about it like this. He's like the century level goth with silvery skin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a Midian elf.
That one.
And he's gonna look to the sulking girl in the chair. And
Sulking.
that's what I said.
Uh-huh.
The one having an aneurysm.
And what is it that you wanted to tell him? 25 words or less.
Madness typing.
She's is past a scrap of paper and a chalk pencil. I was half wondering about that. See, look, it's a good thing I ran into this guy.
Scotty's actively ignoring Gil.
So angry.
See, Gil, this is the treatment I normally get. It's
Yeah, well,
like
you
you're on my side of the wall.
you normally deserve it. You earn it.
It's like you're on my side of the wall. We're buddies now.
Oh gods.
We could be best friends.
I don't think you could keep your mouth shut long enough for that to happen. But I'm willing to try.
Maybe if you kept it shut, little wink.
That's... you've got the most horrible sense of timing.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, should I tell you about my possible distant cousin that Scotty just gave all of Dahadi's stuff to?
Sure, so long as it keeps you from bothering her while she picks up her message.
Oh no, this will definitely bother her from afar.
With
Just
the statement from Roro, she will glare at him and then pass her piece of paper to Morgrim.
Okay, piece of paper. Piece of paper. Okay, yay. Cleric Juju.
Cleric Juju.
Oh, you sure you could get one more word in there?
I know, I counted.
Fuck!
Okay, he is going to do his thingy and mentally send out. There are shadow creatures after you. They nearly killed us. Please don't be alone. Go back to the drift. For my sanity, please. Scotty.
Don't be alarmed.
Alone.
Okay. So, here's what we're going to have to do. Let me see here. We are going to have a little bit, I suppose you could say, a skill test for this.
Oh god.
Roro,
Oh god.
you have... You will give me a check on your performance, as for you to have described this individual. How well did you?
Bitches be complaining.
Morgrim, give me a check on your insight.
You do.
All right.
Seems like he's telling the truth.
Well, it's basically
Like,
the way this has gone out. Roro was using performance to describe and to convey that which is Dahadi. Your insight was to receive that information. And yeah, You both nailed that one pretty much.
Air 5.
Yeah, air high five. There you go. Digi high fives. Boom to the camera. So you reach out. You kind of gather that energy, and kind of you connect a little bit with the. As you expand your senses out, you can feel that kind of that desperation and that concern, just that chaotic maelstrom of emotion coming from the other side of the table. And it's less that it's you have the description forming rather well in your mind of this tall, slender, rather stoic or sullen individual, kind of just clad in a Phaeacian style robe with this cloak of moons and streaked hair. And with that mental image, it reaches out and almost connects with, unconsciously, as Scotty is sitting there pensively, just that royal of emotion. You connect with that, and almost seemingly the details that Roro had missed, not elaborated on, the slight descriptions that Gil gave you, but through this connection with Scotty, all those details filled in. And just for that instant, you can almost see him as though he was right in front of you. And with that, you catch a small glimpse of this figure walking through an endless field of rocky white before you feel that connection, almost like a pickup there. You give your lines, and you feel very confident, almost positive, that your message was received.
Awesome.
A moment passes, and then a soft, wary voice. I do not know you. Tell her I am well. And no more.
Okay.
I do not feel safe.
He says he's fine, and he doesn't know me, so maybe next time we get you talking.
Get me talking how? And she is speaking through her teeth and completely purple again, this time with anger.
Gil joins Roro in no longer feeling safe.
I mean, we copy this down in your little book there.
She'll stare at the dwarf, just not being able to comprehend anything at the moment of what he's trying to say.
All right. Well, hey, no, that's a good thing, right? We've had success. He got through, and there's an avenue for you. We just need to scrounge up materials.
It's a good thing that you just didn't give a very good description to my possible cousin. Good job.
Again, Scotty stands from the table, glaring at Roro, and turns to leave the tavern before she does something terrible to get herself arrested.
You want one of us to come along this time?
It can be me.
I don't think that's a good idea, Roro.
Yeah, I was going to.
She has no response. She just keeps walking because she's pretty sure if she sees Roro's face one more time, she's going to kill him.
That's very mutual for a lot of people,
Yeah.
including Roro.
So as Scotty is clear of the door, just Gil will kind of turn to Roar. It's like, well, fair being fair, that was a pretty detailed explanation of Dahadi.
Morgrim nods.
Thank you. I know.
Yeah.
If that is all, I think I will, I'll go take a walk or something.
I'd let her cool off a little first.
I'll go the opposite way.
Yeah. Might be a good idea. I mean... No, hold on. We need to get her back, because now we need to figure out what we're doing. If we're still... I mean, I think we should still probably head north. We've got... We've got Morgrim here to... I'll go and grab her real quick. I can take the I can take the lumps. So, two of you have fun here. Still a little bit left to eat.
Barbara will look over to Morgan. Was there somewhere you wanted to go?
I don't know. I mean, I have my thing where we were going to be heading in the right direction. But I'm not in a super huge rush, so... Is there something you wanted to do?
I was just gonna go find a shady tree and play some music.
He's gonna go busk for money.
Shh. They don't need to know that.
It's what a bard does. When they're broke.
Seems better than the nothing that's going on here, so... Maybe I'll go have a listen.
And see, Revo wouldn't even know that because he never actually had to play for money before.
Yeah, well, no, you may not have been the wandering minstrel, but you know of them. There's been some that have been hired off the streets before.
Well, then, as they exit the tavern, he will pull out... I don't even remember what he had. One sec.
He'll pull out... He's got no instruments.
He has nothing.
Lost in a fire.
His
Don't ask me which
character.
one. They follow you.
Would that be awkward? Follow you.
I'm just saying, you guys have got a bad habit of having things burn to the ground around you. First Alta, then Talos Camp, then half of the Drift. And now whatever the hell has happened in your vision. I'm just saying, fire likes to follow you.
That probably won't be an issue if Scotty left.
You never know.
Okay, player complex is supposed to belong to Roro. Calm down. Okay, Roro's gonna pull out his violin and play a tune that's not annoying, but one he learned on the Drift. Quinn.
Alright. You can go ahead and roll your thing there. Okay. No. All right. So Morgrim, he's pretty. He's got a violin, very elfy thing that it is. You're not entirely surprised. He's good. He's pretty good, and passers-by will, toss a few coins here and there, which will end up, because this is, in fact, a wealthy area. You'll end up for an hour or so playing. You'll end up with 16 gold.
Shit, bro.
Yeah, good rules.
Bro, I was gonna at first just kind of give them this look like, what are you doing? Money's never been thrown at me before. Like that, at least.
Yeah, you even get to keep your clothes on this time.
I've never had to take them off before, Quinn.
I don't know. You were trying to play geisha a little earlier in your career.
You don't know that. And I didn't even get anything for it.
It's not like you weren't offered anything.
It's not like I'm ever going back to the studio.
So, because I'm starting to really fade out here, we will close it for tonight. We'll come back next week as we will deal in the interim. Hopefully, people can calm the dragon down. We'll see what happens there.
Take him to her room. She'll be fine.
But yes, thank you. It was good to get back into it. Morgrim didn't have a lot to say this time, but he was pretty clutch nonetheless. Good job. Good job, Dwarfy boy. He's very useful. He is a cleric. We should always come to him going, hey, do you know how to do this thing? But yes, thank you very much. This was fun. And we'll be back definitely next week for the next round, provided that the curse of the first of the month will not follow us to our doom. I'm gonna try and start streaming again because that'll be a thing. But anyway, take care.